What's up, y'all? Today we are here with Kat Graham, also known as Toro Gato, who is an actress, artist, UN refugee ambassador, an incredible human being. We have heard so much from you guys that you want to hear from more artists and creatives about the behind the scenes thought process of creating an NFT. And I'm telling you what, Kat is the perfect person to talk to because she is really blazing a new trail in the NFT space for artists and has the intent through it all to make a big impact in this world, which we absolutely love. So you enjoyed this conversation with Kat Graham. Please forgive us due to some technical difficulties. We lost the first 2 to 3 minutes of this conversation. It was totally Rich's fault. Totally his fault. We're going to jump right in, middle of the conversation, where she was sharing with us how she first heard about NFTs. What is up, family? Listen, we've been talking so much about how NFTs are not just about art and projects. There's a bunch of different ways that you can use NFTs. And we've alluded to a few things like how it's going to impact movies and comedians and the way that we consume. We've briefly mentioned music before, and that's what we're going to dig in today. The cool thing about NFTs obviously is their utility, but it's kind of like I feel like fortune telling a little bit about where this space is going. So it's really cool to be able to talk to somebody who's at the forefront and trailblazing for independent artists. We have artist and activist Kat Graham with us. I'm super pumped. She's releasing something here in just a couple of days. An innovative way to release music. You know, NFTs normally anybody can still listen to them, whether you own the NFT or not. With this project, only if you own the NFT can you consume this content, which is super badass, super cool. Kat, thanks so much for taking time out of your day to join us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks.
I have an Instagram post of yours from December 30th, so not long ago. It's a collage of pictures, and you're like, these are 18 projects and counting that I've done since Vampire Diaries. And after 8 years on a series, I still have moments where I feel I haven't done enough, and I know I'm not alone. My question to you is Toro Gato and part 2, is this kind of like this culmination where you're like, wow, I have a new venue. I could do something different. It's musical, it's art, it's this kind of aggregation of things that are a different way to put something out into the world.
You would think, right?
You would think.
I found out through Yellowheart, which is this awesome NFT platform that I'm releasing Toro Gato with, and they are also an NFT ticketing company, and they do really great stuff. I found out that I'm actually the first artist in history to exclusively release an album as an NFT, and that there's music data embedded within the NFT, right? So you can actually stream the full album and the videos within the platform, which hadn't existed before. Yellowheart's the first of its kind. I'm the first of my kind of artist. And you would think that hearing that, I would say, oh, well, I feel really great. I feel like I've done something. I'm one of the very few UN Goodwill ambassadors for the refugee agency. I made history with Vampire Diaries. I was the first Black April O'Neil for Ninja Turtles. Yeah. I mean, I love being the first and only. Yeah. That being said, and that's the thing when we talk about, being an artist, there's no reasoning or logic to the feeling of feeling like you haven't done enough as an artist or a creator. It's completely irrational. So even though I have crossed so many boundaries for, being who I am and what I've done in my life, I feel like I haven't done anything. So no matter how much I do, it's irrelevant because I can be the first of my kind and it doesn't matter because the artist, lizard brain is like, you haven't done anything. Where's that award? Where's that magazine cover? Where's that? It's like, what? So, and that's what this record is about in a lot of ways, is the shadow self and the darker part of you that you have to talk to, that monster that's not underneath your bed, it's sleeping next to you and that goes to sleep next to you and gives you a hard time about your parents, about your relationships, about how you look at yourself when you're alone, and that to me was such a sacred and private conversation. I needed a platform that would show enough respect to the kind art that I was creating so that I knew my audience would also come with that same respect. A lot of celebrities were releasing and are releasing NFTs, and they do it for money.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
like that's such a slap in my face as an artist, because I don't do anything for money. I just don't believe that's just not my journey. And whoever, like, if that's your thing and that's what you want to do and you want to make a quick buck, like, you know what, like, live your life. I hope you accomplish it. But as an artist and just as a human, I just feel like people are not stupid. If you're not really into something, it comes through. And I think that's, people are like wondering why certain communities in the NFT space have been more successful. And when celebrity drops an NFT, no one gives a shit. And it's like, well, people can, okay, you're just doing this. You're just hopping in this space to make a quick buck off us. That's why, Toro Gato, it's only like, we haven't announced it yet, but we have physical redeemables from like a hoodie, patches, vinyl, cassettes, and it's only for like $15. I mean, I've spent thousands on NFTs and I'm just like, I just want to be a part of the community. I want to see, what it's like. But for my audience, these are young girls. A lot of my kids that support me and have supported me, like, yes, they've grown up with me from the time that I was on a show in 2009. So some of them are, in their 30s, 40s, and even like 50s now. But I have this new generation of young girls that, are used to the easy go on, streaming platforms and buy something. So I have to make it accessible in every way, financially, that they'll be able to do this on their phone. I have to simplify it for my young girls because I want them to have this art.
I just want to say this to the newbies real quick. When you see people spending zero point 0.4 ETH as if it's nothing and trying to scrounge up some project before it blows up, like, that's the difference between what's going on here and that. Like, 0.4 ETH is a lot of money for a lot of people. So this is affordable, newbies. If you want to check it out, I'm looking at it. But I really appreciate that, because we always try and help our listeners look out for a project that is not only going to over deliver, but that's affordable to kind of dip your toe in. But this is like real.
It costs me money to make all the vinyl and make all the cassettes and all the hoodies and the patches and stuff. So I just wanted to be able to cover that. And then anything beyond that, if it's successful, great. But if it's not, then people can, have this art. And it's not just, a lot of people have prejudices against NFTs where they're like, oh, it's easily reproduced. I'm like, but so is a Banksy. Doesn't have a Banksy. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it is. It's you can say that you have a Banksy, or you can say I have a Banksy. It's just, there's just a difference in that. But what I counter that argument with is like, that's great, but I only produced a few hundred vinyls and that's it. So there's also that physical redeemable quality to this collection. I'm doing this really cool thing with Nifty Base, which I really like them. We're selling NFTs created by this really great artist, Marcello, to raise some money to build a water filtration system for people on the border of Mexico and Texas. It's in the Colonias by McAllen, Texas, in the Rio Grande Valley. So we're in the process of, using NFTs for good.
Awesome.
For me, I like the idea of using it for good and using it for art. I haven't quite figured out the whole money aspect of it, but I am somebody that believes if you do things from the right place and people genuinely want your art or want to help, it'll come. I can't navigate my life if it's like I need to make a bunch of money. Like, that's just, I'll end up doing really dumb stuff and nobody will listen to me as an artist. They'll be like, what do you know? You're a sellout.
Right. I think it was before we hit record, we were talking about how a lot of times when you don't understand something, the response to that is like a lot of fear around it. And we get DMs from creatives all the time who are curious about how do we integrate this into our work and our brand? Like, what does this mean for my acting career, for my comedian career, et cetera, et cetera. And I think there's a lot of fear and doubt around it. And like, you're trailblazing and you're one of the first people to integrate this into their art. And I was wondering, like, what are some of the natural fears that came up for you, the unknown stuff, and how did you overcome those?
I think every artist has like a lot of insecurities, right? Like, it doesn't even matter if it's in an NFT platform, if it's on iTunes, like every artist has that fear. Is anyone going to like listen to this? It's a completely different imagery. I think people are used to seeing like a very like pop culture friendly, smiling, selfie holding Cat Graham. And the idea when I was like, no, I'm releasing this under Toro Gato. And they're like, what does that mean? Like, is Cat Graham dead? And, it's just, I'm the other side of this coin that people are so used. I spent so much time playing Bonnie Bennett. People didn't know who Cat Graham was. So I spent the past 3 years like doing work that balanced out so people knew who I was. And then after that, and then I start flipping that coin and it's Toro Gato. So people are still, trying to understand who I am as an artist. I just want people to hear and see the art. And my big fear is that I did all of this art for nothing and that no one will see it. I don't care about losing money. I'm going to lose money anytime I make art. Like that's just my thing. I make money and then I put it into my art. I'll do a big movie and it goes right into my art again. Studio sessions, into building sets, music videos, production, hiring writers to write scripts. I have no idea how to not move like that. It's part of my nature. So I guess the fear is that people don't see my art. I could give a fuck about money. I just want people to see my art. So that's my big fear, is that nobody hears it and nobody sees it. And that would be my big fear.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because with the NFT, I mean, it sounds cool that you can only listen to it if you have the NFT, but too, like I know kind of the conventional model has been like, let's get as many people to listen to things as possible. Let's go viral. Let's get in front of, and I feel like NFTs is like such a like exclusive platform. And it's kind of like messes with your mind when you've been conditioned to think like, I want something to go viral. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not with this project, It's like if you took off all of your makeup or Rich, if you had a relative and you were sitting next to them while they were, in their last moment alive, like, would you want those moments to go viral? These are like these super private, sacred moments. Like, would you want that to go viral? I don't think so. So that's what this record is for me. It's this kind of very sacred project. There's plenty of things I want to go viral. There's plenty of Netflix movies I do that I want to go. Plenty of pop records I'll release that I want to go viral. This is my art. This is my Dolly. This is my, Frida. This is that for me. And I think anyone who loves art or who understands really, artists that are within this space, like the Massive Attack or Portishead or, even FKA Twigs or Erykah Badu, and people that really do appreciate music and visuals and, cinematic performances, then this is the right record for you. If you're looking for a pop record, go listen to another artist. There's plenty of them out there that really do want to go viral and do want that kind of validation. I don't need that, or I'm not going after it. I think this is the only interview I've actually agreed to do for Toro Gato.
Oh, wow.
This is it, because I don't want to talk about it. Like, I want people to see it. I want people that are in the NFT space to be about it. I don't want to I'm not here to sell myself, know?
Right. We love that. I'm on Yellow Heart, and I want to tell you something. I don't believe in coincidences lately. I'm literally reading a book called How to Stop Being Yourself, and it's all about the subconscious and conscious mind. And when I'm reading here, it says, when you chose your name, it translates to bullcat, and it was chosen by you and Darren to show both the light and dark parts of the subconscious and conscious mind. Like, what are you talking about right there? I mean, I don't want to get it twisted, because I could make my own interpretation, which maybe you want me to do, but what?
I kind of do, especially, Rich, if you're in the process of studying, the physical and non-physical consciousness.
Yes.
So I'm curious, what do you think it means?
As far as the light and dark parts, so the subconscious, was reading about beta waves and alpha waves and theta waves and all this stuff. The subconscious is what I'm understanding right now. This is so funny. I didn't expect the interview to go this direction.
I'm having the time of my life right now.
Question, though. It's my fault. The subconscious to me is everything that's impeding me from living the life I want. That's how I interpret it. The subconscious is everything lingering that I'm not identifying, or I'm putting in a box, or compartmentalizing. And I used to serve, so there's a lot of stuff from the military that I put aside, right? And the conscious mind is me literally maybe trying to show up a certain way for you on this interview, which I'm not, or showing up as the father I want to be when my daughter's misbehaving and I want to be a good dad and not like a punk. So the subconscious is everything I'm not paying attention to or not allowing to kind of bubble to the surface. That's how I look at it right now in my kind of, elementary knowledge so far of what I'm studying.
That's exactly right. I mean, that's exactly right. So,
Interview over.
the Rich that was in the military and the ghost of that part of you that still lingers, that affects your choices and your relationships and, how you navigate or how you react to sound, to noise, to how you're sleeping at night and any of your trauma, that is your subconscious mind or maybe your shadow self. And what we like to do, and I do the same thing in my own way, is we just kind of put it in the closet or under the bed or under the rug. And it's like, oh, we're fine. It's in the past. It's over. It's over. But what would you look like if you befriended that person? If you became friends with the monster under your bed, and instead of running or hiding or tucking that version of yourself, what would your life look like if you had a conversation and stopped being so scared of the monster? And this album is the celebration of that part of you that you don't celebrate. So on the record, I'll talk about, my dad, who I had an abusive dad, and, or bad relationships, or, my own insecurities. Like there's one of the films in Toro Gato where I completely like take off the wig and take off the makeup and take off everything. And I'm just raw. So it's about, and sometimes the scariest thing is not what's outside, it's what's within. The mind absolutely controls us and decides whether we're a self-saboteur or whether we are, unlimited. And I really do think that, you have to go through sometimes hell and high water to get to your highest self. And I'd figured that out during COVID, right? So I'd gone down the NFT rabbit hole, but simultaneously I was listening to a lot more Deepak Chopra. I was meditating a ton more. I was dealing with my insecurities, my relationships. People were dying on me. People were getting sick left and right. And I had to have a conversation about like, what am I about? Am I this kind of shiny, Instagrammy, person who's just happy all the time? And I'm just, always going to be likable. And that's just not me. And that's not my art. And I don't think that that's relatable. And I think that if there's a way that I could bring my soul into a space that is kind of shrouded in mystery and technology and actually bring some soul, that would be cool. And that I would actually, because honestly, in a weird way, it is so protected because people that are into NFTs are into it and understand what OpenSea is, and they understand what the wallet is, and they're devoted in a weird way to it. I almost felt that my soul was safer there, and my shadow self and my subconscious was safer there because people that were walking into that house knew what they were walking into, that they are also protected, and they are also there to be a part of this very private, almost exclusive space. So in a weird way, I felt protected by being in a crypto space. It's interesting, right?
I have one more deep question for you. I got to go here real quick. Sorry, I have to. There's not many people you can have this conversation with, but I feel like I have my friends over here who are talking about, awakening and, the global consciousness and all that. And I have friends over here who are very into like tech and business, et cetera. And, thinking about Web3 and the implications of where we're going with like more decentralized media, et cetera. I'm just wondering, like, how do you, because I know you're heavily invested in just the state of the world and using your work for good. How do you see like this shift in our culture with tech? How does that affect, I guess, consciousness in general, like the spiritual shift that we're going through right now. Some people are really afraid of it and against it, but also too, I can see there being like a lot of good come from it because,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
There's good and I don't even like to use the word evil. There's high vibrations and there's low vibrations. Any avenue, in any company, there are great people and there are lower vibrations in anything and in everything. There are people that are using NFTs to raise money for charity and for communities that don't have drinking water or, financial stability or homes or safety. And there are people using NFTs to just line their pockets so they can buy another Ferrari. Only you can decide as an individual how you want to navigate in any space. So if you are interested in NFTs, you get to look at yourself and say, why do I want to do this? Do I want to just collect and make some money? And if that's fine, if that's what you want, then that's what you want, And if you are an owner of an NFT company and you are launching maybe you're launching a new coin. I have friends that are launching their own coins, and but I actually before I get involved with my friends that are, launching crypto banks and, their own coins, I have to ask them why. Why are you doing it? And if you're doing it to raise money, is that money going towards the betterment of society? And if it's not, I don't want the coin. I don't want to be an ambassador for the coin or the bank or anything, the platform. I'm not interested, because for me and how it's all connected, and the connection has to always be purpose. Like, what is your purpose? Like, if my purpose of Toro Gato is just to make a bunch of money, then that's fine. But if my purpose is to get people to look at themselves and say, what part of me is the Toro Gato, the shadow self, and have I been neglecting it? And is there something within me that it's time for me to face so that I can move forward in my life and that can promote healing? Great.
Yeah.
Great. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the company, it doesn't matter how techy it is, it doesn't matter how difficult it is to understand. If their purpose is coming from the right place, then it's coming from the right place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Damn.
Heather, I know you got one final question, but for everyone listening to this, go to yh.io, that's Yellow Heart, and you could type in Toro Gato and you will see the collection. I already got my eyes on the bundle with the hoodie because I'm like obsessed with
He's
hoodies,
obsessed
and I
with
love
hoodies.
what I'm looking at right now. It's affordable. There's all kinds of ranges. So if you're a newbie listening to this and you've loved everything you've heard so far, then just go. All right, just go and check it out, see for yourself. And then
Just
Heather,
go.
what you got?
Yeah. Well, this is a very, very serious question to end the show with, but we always make sure that we ask from our pod deck, which we ran out. So now I'm using Chick-fil-A cards right here from my kids' Happy Meal sandwich. But this is what the question is. What would you be sure to bring on a long road trip?
God, that's a great question. I'm heading out pretty soon because I'm doing a refugee documentary, and I'm heading out next week. And you got to think about what we're going to bring, because sometimes there's a threat of when you get to certain borders, if there's like kidnapping and safety issues and stuff like that. So the first thing that comes to my mind that I'm bringing for that is I have a 5-year memory journal. So every day I write down like a few lines about what I did that day or like what I learned and stuff like that. Because for me, and I know it sounds so weird, but some of the most important things for me are my memories. And I don't want to forget anything, especially if I'm taking like a road trip, right? Like I'm all about like self-discovery these days. So I just want to like document like even just the littlest part, like, oh, I saw a really great flower today and it like changed how I saw the sun, or just like little like stupid stuff. I'm like a sentimental person. So I would say that.
We had a blast and we cannot thank you enough.
Same, really grateful. This is really special, really special. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Kat, have a good rest of the day.
Nice meeting you, man.
Bye.
Bye.